Hello, this is Gloomy Sunday, and once again, I will be sharing spooky stories that will send shivers down your thorny spine. Without further ado, let's begin tonight's creepy, spooky, and sometimes outlandish array of tales. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. In the small, picturesque town of Rotorua in New Zealand, where every sunset painted the sky with shades of pink, lived a girl named Wikapi. With hair as silken as spun sugar and a heart as big as her love for everything soft and rosy, Wikapi was widely adored. Her room was a sanctuary of pink. Bubblegum curtains cascaded down her window, cotton candy cushions adorned her bed, and shelves were brimming with plush toys, all in various hues of her favorite color. For Wikapi, pink was not just a color, it was a feeling. It whispered tales of innocence and sweetness, a comfort she'd cling to in the changing seasons of life. But one fateful evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, a peculiar shade of pink ascended to the heavens, casting an eerie glow over Rotorua. At first, Wikapi felt a thrill at the vibrant new hue. She rushed outside, her arms raised to embrace the otherworldly palette. The townsfolk gathered, mesmerized by the captivating sky, but as the minutes crawled by, an unsettling tension began to weave through the crowd. The soothing pink began to darken, twisting into a sinister hue that writhed like smoke. The air thickened, and a cold chill gnawed at Wikapi's spine. Then, it happened. The pink burst from the sky, swirling around her in a tempest of frenzied energy. It morphed into figures, contorted and monstrous, all bearing the same sickly sweet facade she had adored. This was no longer the soft embrace of her beloved color. It was a living nightmare. The monstrosity, a grotesque fusion of bubblegum and claws, shrieked her name in a voice that echoed with malice. Terrified, Wikapi stumbled back, realizing this pink was out to destroy her. She ran through the streets, pursued by the swirling horror that cried and cackled, its voice a mocking echo of the joy she'd once felt about the color. Desperate, she sought refuge in the forest at the edge of town, a place she had visited many times before. As she weaved through the trees, a sudden rush of memories flooded her mind, memories of stories her grandmother had told her as a child, hidden whispers of a legacy she had never fully understood. Tales of witches and their powers, of transformation and protection. She remembered a small locket her grandmother had given her, adorned with a rose, a symbol of their heritage. When Wikapi reached the clearing where she used to play, the panic within her surged. She grasped the locket, her fingers trembling. In that moment of fear, she felt a warmth blossom within her, a spark igniting her spirit. She was not just a girl who loved pink, she was a witch, part of a powerful lineage that had guarded against dark forces. With newfound confidence, Wikapi stood tall against the swirling mass of pink.
"No, you will not take me up!"
she shouted, her voice echoing through the trees. The monstrous pink halted, recoiling as a shimmer enveloped Wikapi. She focused all her thoughts on the memories of laughter, love, and warmth that her favorite color once evoked. With every ounce of her strength, she summoned an incantation that rippled through the air like the gentle breeze, turning her words into luminous energy.
"By the love of the rose and the power of the moon, I banish the darkness, let light take you soon. From sweetness to strength, from fear to flight, may this horrid pink return to the light."
The words flowed from her lips, teeming with emotion. The monster shrieked, its form distorting and convulsing as the colors twisted around it. With a final scream, the pink vaporized into iridescent sparkles that rained down around Wikapi, draping her in a soothing glow. The horror had retreated, leaving her standing alone in the clearing, shaking but resolute. No longer just a girl who cherished pink, Wikapi had become something more, a guardian of her own heart's desires and a protector against the darkness that would threaten to consume them. As dawn broke, the world around Wikapi faded back to its serene state with soft pink hues decorating the sky. The townsfolk emerged, waking to a new day, unaware of the battle that had transpired through the night. But for Wikapi, life was forever changed. She would still embrace her love for pink, but now she understood its duality. It was a color of joy and a reminder to be vigilant against the shadows that lurked behind even the sweetest moments. And somewhere, hidden among the whispers of the trees, her grandmother smiled, knowing the legacy lived on in her brave granddaughter. I know that it doesn't appear like it, but pink is actually one of my favorite colors. I just look good in black, so I wear it all the time. But you'll never know, you might suddenly see me in pink. Now on to the next spooky story. When I was younger, about 8 or 9 years old, I liked playing by myself a lot because I was the baby girl. My mom and sisters would tell me to not play by myself, and they'll sometimes call me stupid. One day, my sisters and I got into a fight, so my mom separated us to different rooms. Since I was already used to playing by myself, it was fine with me, so I played with my naked doll. My siblings called her Chucky, sad, I know, but her name was actually Yolane. As I was combing Yolane's hair, I talked to her as if she was a real friend. I can't remember what I said, but I'm sure I was venting at the doll about my older sisters. My second eldest sister came into the room I was in and she screamed very loudly. I was very startled, so I threw my doll on the floor and ran out the room, crying to my mom. A couple of years later, when I was 16, my sisters and I were looking at some old kids' photos of us for my parents' appreciation party. There was a picture of my doll Yolane and I. My second eldest sister made a comment saying she remembered my doll. All my sisters made a joke that they used to throw my doll in the heater because she looked like Chucky. It was pretty hilarious, thinking back. On the day of my parents' appreciation party, my sisters and I were getting ready with doing our hair, makeup, and whatnot. My sisters were helping each other out while I did my own hair and makeup. Growing up, I've always been independent. I like doing things on my own. My second eldest sister, we were a lot closer, commented something like,
"When we were younger, you used to play by yourself, and now we're already big. You still like to do things on your own."
I'm just like, whatever. Then she said,
"I remember that one time when we got into a fight and Mom separated us."
Which one? I asked her back.
"The one time I screamed,"
she replied. Yes, why did you scream? You were so mean that time, I exclaimed.
"What the? Why did you scream then?"
She answered me, confused. Are you nuts? Because you screamed and scared me off. I replied to her indignantly. She got pale and looked at me closely.
"So you didn't see what I saw? Never mind then. I thought you saw it,"
she said slowly. No, what did you see? I asked her, exasperated. But my sister shook her head and said,
"Nothing, just forget about it."
I said, no. What did you see? Tell me. We argued for a long time about what she saw. She didn't want to tell me because she thought I would be too scared, so I just stopped and dropped the conversation. A few months later, my second eldest sister got married. On the day of her wedding, we were both in my bedroom talking about her upcoming wedding. I finally asked her again, one thing I wanted to know before she gets married is what she saw that day we had that fight as little girls. She said if she tells me now, I'll be too scared. I told her I'm pretty sure it wasn't that scary. So she finally told me that she saw a little girl, blonde hair tied back into a ponytail, dressed in 1800s navy blue dress. She said the little girl was on my back playing with my doll, Yolene, too. I thought she was joking. Shut up, whatever, I said, since I thought she was joking.
Seriously, I thought you saw her too.
My sister insisted. No, I thought you were just being mean, I said, still not believing her.
No, Mom said I can't tell you, but I will just tell you now.
My sister said, and this is the story my sister told me. Going back to age 8 to 9, that day when my sister and I got into a fight and she scared me off. She said when she came to my mom in the kitchen and I came in crying, my face didn't look like mine. She said I looked like someone else. My mom just kept yelling at us. She told us to go time out, so we did. When my sister and I got to the wall, she said I kept banging my head on the wall and I kept laughing. My sister got really scared, so she kept moving towards the kitchen. As she moved, I would bang my head harder. She said I banged my head until I was knocked out. My sister said that it was not the first time that happened. She said every time my sisters and I got into a fight, I would get possessed, very angry, and abusive to myself. I would scream or laugh loudly. And when that happens to me, my mom would separate us. Every time my mom separated us, she would not let me out of the room until I was happy and back to normal. But that one day when she saw me, she said that was the first time she ever saw me like that. She said I wasn't just playing with the doll, I was poking the doll with a pen and the little girl behind me was whispering to me. Ever since that day, my mom took both my sister and I to therapy because my sister would not go to sleep at all for several nights. When she told me this, I got really scared. When I thought back about my childhood, I couldn't remember most of them, beside myself playing alone and taking lots of medicine. When I was younger, I had to take about 7 in the morning and 5 at night. The only reason I ate them was because my mom told me if I was good and eat them, she'll buy me something. I took medication at age 6 until I was 16, so for almost 10 years. When I turned 17, my parents became Christians, and I grew to wonder who God was. My youth pastor told me he could take away everything that I did not want and that he is my healer. On July 18, 2008, I gave my life to God and I was delivered. I no longer took medications or seek therapy after I got delivered, but now I see the other side of the world. Spirits, demons, and angels. Gosh, that was quite the story. I thought it will be about a haunted doll or something. It turns out that she was being possessed when she was a child and luckily, she was helped by someone. I thought it was an Annabelle story, but it turned out more like Emily Rose. I hope you enjoyed our spooky and strange stories. Join us next time for more. Take care and boo-bye.